We've talked about Patrick Mahomes. We've talked about Saquon Barkley. We've talked about the Philadelphia Eagles wide receivers versus Trent McDuffie. We've talked about all sorts of things leading up to this game, but perhaps one thing that I have overlooked on this channel for too long, the thing for which Steve Spagnuolo is best known, and how that might play in to whether or not the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl. That thing, of course, besides the thing for which Steve Spagnuolo is best known for, besides, in fact, winning Super Bowls, rushing the passer. In an article from ESPN titled Super Bowl 2025 Preview Chiefs, Eagles, Stats, Prediction, and More by Bill Barnwell, we get the question itself. Will Spags send the house? The ultimate risk-reward gambit for Spagnuolo and his pressures is to all-out blitz. The Chiefs play cover zero, no deep safety help, and one defender in coverage for every eligible receiver, with everyone else blitzing the quarterback on 7.8% of opposing dropbacks. The Raiders were the only team that played cover zero more this season. Didn't work out very well for the Raiders. You have not seen them play for quite some time now. A year ago, with cornerback L'Jarius Sneed in the mix, the Chiefs played cover zero on 11% of the snaps in the playoffs. That was more than double the league average. Translation, Steve Spagnuolo likes to rush the passer. Of course, if I were imagining what sort of offensive playmakers would scare a defensive coordinator away from calling cover zero, I would basically have the Eagles. In a defensive look in which one missed tackle can mean a touchdown, Barkley has been unstoppable in the open field. He can run through entire teams if given the opportunity and is a mismatch against any defender in any sort of space. Very underrated point here. When you play cover zero, when you have just enough defensive backs to cover them in that are on routes, it does make you vulnerable to someone, whether it is through catching the ball and running or breaking through the line and running. It makes you susceptible to big plays. It's not just Barkley. Hurts is more of a threat on designed runs than he is as a scrambler, yet he still averaged 10 yards per scramble this season. Brown is capable of either running past or through cover corners. Smith is a threat to run away from coverage and make spectacular catches. And while opposing coaches would probably be relieved if Philadelphia targeted Dallas Goedert instead, Goedert already has a touchdown this postseason against cover zero when he manhandled Packers cornerback Carrington Valentine in the wild card round. So, this article is saying that it is very, very dangerous against the Eagles to play cover zero because they are such a strong team. They have wide receivers who can break tackles. Obviously, their running back can break tackles. Their tight end is not the worst in the world, and even their quarterback is adept at breaking tackles and making big plays on second contact. Will that stop Steve Spagnuolo? I don't think so. In another article from CBS Sports titled Chiefs Well Aware of Jalen Hurts' Success Against the Blitz, What Makes Eagles Quarterbacks So Good Against It by Jeff Kerr, we get the following. Hurts is actually one of the best quarterbacks in the league against the blitz in 2024, completing 66.1% of his passes, 74 of 112. That's 2/3 of his passes for 945 yards with 9 touchdowns to 1 interception for a 115.4 passer rating, 6th in the NFL. In the playoffs, Hurts is 15 of 24, 62.5 for 210 yards with a touchdown and 0 interceptions for a 104.5 rating. Since the bye week, Week 5, Hurts has completed 63.9% of his passes, 63 of 97, for 858 yards with 8 touchdowns and 0 interceptions for a 119.7 passer rating, including the postseason. That passer rating is 3rd in the NFL. A little bit later, this same article gives us this. The Chiefs had a blitz rate of 34%, which was 5th in the NFL. In the playoffs, it's dropped to 29.5%, but that's not by accident. Facing good dual-threat quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Hurts will diminish the percentage, but Hurts certainly provides a problem for a team that likes to get quarterbacks off their spot. "Oh man, he's mobile," said Chiefs All-Pro cornerback Trent McDuffie. "You can tell he's a student of the game. He understands what the defenses are attacking him with. He's just knowledgeable about football. You play someone like that, you gotta be smart in when you attack him. The timing of the blitzes is what the Chiefs have to get right. Of course, this isn't the same Hurts the Chiefs faced in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Well, it's not the same Kansas City Chiefs either, but there are some similarities between this team and that team. Namely, the big man up front for the defense. Now, will the Kansas City Chiefs all-out blitz Jalen Hurts? Obviously, the answer is yes, because that's what they do. That's one of the things in their arsenal, and it's one of the things that they like to do very, very best. But I don't think it is necessary in order to get the amount of pass rush win rate, maybe even running win rate, run defense win rate that they will need. The big man up front for the Kansas City Chiefs is, of course, Chris Jones, defensive tackle pass rush win rate rankings. Chris Jones was number 1 in the entire NFL, 34 wins on 214 plays. That is a pass rush win rate of 70%. Now, he will be going up, obviously, against the Eagles' offensive line. This season, we have seen Chris Jones at times pick where it is he wants to line up. I think it is likely he will stay as the cog right in the middle of that defense for this game. Number one, he's been much better at stopping the run than he was, in my opinion, in previous seasons. But we also see this. Interior offensive pass block win rankings. This is guard, center, guard, pass rush win rate rankings. That is too difficult to say. Number 1 here, obviously, is Joe Tuniak from Kansas City, 321 wins on 327 plays. That is a 98% PBWR. Then we have Creed Humphrey down at 6, another Kansas City Chief, 380 wins in 395 plays. That is a 96% PBWR. You might notice there's no Philadelphia Eagles on that screen yet. 2 Kansas City Chiefs, 3 Denver Broncos. That's impressive. But no Philadelphia Eagles down there. 2 more spots, 7 and 8, Mitch Morse from Jacksonville, Andre James from Las Vegas, number 9, Tyler Smith from Dallas, Ryan Kelly from Indianapolis, and then tied at 10th, Cam Jurgens from Philadelphia. Now, this is still a 95% pass block win rate, but what keeping Chris Jones closer to the center of the field would do for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Eagles is keep him closer to the ball at all times. The Eagles are a very old school offense. They're going to pound the rock. They're going to run down your throats. And the closer you are in proximity to that, the more disruptive you can be. When I was in high school, one of the funny things that we used to like to joke with guys about on the football team was this. The closer you are to the ball, the worse of an athlete you are. That used to be true. If you were the center, the guard, the tackle, you were not as good an athlete as the wide receivers, who were better athletes than the tight end, who was closer to the ball. the halfback a better athlete than the quarterback, closer to the ball. That has changed in today's NFL. These athletes are massive and they are incredible. Chris Jones versus this Philadelphia Eagles offense being closer to the ball is going to help the Chiefs defense. And the big thing is, so Chris Jones is very tall as well. Chris Jones gets his arms up, blocks a lot of passes. George Karlaftis blocks a lot of passes. Charles Omenihu has that length to block a lot of passes. That, I think, may play as big a role in this game as the actual pressure rate and as the actual number of sacks. Jalen Hurts, maybe you're not going to get him on the ground for very many sacks. So long as you stop those passes from being completed, is basically every bit as effective. I've said in a couple other videos now that I think what the Chiefs might do is actually use a strategy that used to be employed against them, against the Philadelphia Eagles, but for the exact opposite reason. Teams used to try to drain the clock against the Kansas City Chiefs because it kept Patrick Mahomes on the sideline and it limited his touches. I think that might be a strategy that the Chiefs use in this game, but it will only work if they have an efficient offense. Why would they do this against the Eagles? Well, if you can build yourself a 2-possession lead against the Eagles, they find it much more difficult to rely on the run as heavily as they do. Much more difficult to rely on the run as heavily as they would like to. So if you can open up a 10-point lead, even a 9-point lead, that's 2 possessions, then what you can do is drain the clock against this team, and then your pass rush win rates really start to matter. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.